So his whole thing here is that he has dessert every day. Am I gonna address the elephant in the room here with Alex Hormozi?
Then we can't bypass the idea, and he's a pretty honest guy, that there's
Ruslan.
Let me jump into this Alex Hormozi clip. You know Alex a bit. This is his diet revealed.
Virtually every night for 20 years, I have never skipped dessert, and I've been able to maintain a six-pack for that entire period of time. I have done a lot of different diet keto stuff. I've done high carb, I've done low carb, I've done high fat, I've done intermittent fasting, alternate day fasting, carnivore style eating, whatever. The last 10 years, I've pretty much eaten the exact same way, be able to have business dinners, be able to have drinks. Many of the entrepreneurs that I know who've seen me eat and have been around me a long time end up adopting this, and they never go back. What I'm not saying is this is the most scientifically researched, whatever. I'm just sharing what worked for me. If something works for you, just keep doing that. Number one is you have to figure out what your goal is.
So his whole thing here is that he has dessert every day. Am I gonna address the elephant in the room here with Alex Hormozi? It is alleged and rumored that there's some other things going on in terms of his physiology, and those other things create faster nutrient absorption for the extra things that are being incorporated into his repertoire of stuff.
So yes, I definitely want to dig into this, but I want to preface the conversation with this. I have a lot of respect for that man. He's brought a lot of great things to our business. I was a gym lord with him. I still to this day use a lot of his things. On the way here, I actually read the entire book.
$100 million offers.
I read the entire thing in my 5-hour trip here. So I love everything he's doing. First of all, I think we need to mention the fact that he's an outlier. Right? He's a brilliant man. He's a disciplined guy. He's a guy who, when he works out, he probably burns 12 or 1,500 calories. So he intentionally creates a deficit that way. So he doesn't have to diet like most people have to diet. And then we can't bypass the idea, and he's a pretty honest guy, that there's some chemicals involved.
Has he opened up about that?
No, but one of his things is to be very straightforward and tell you to your face. And I'm sure if you ask him,
I'm shocked no one's asked.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people have asked him. And he has an extensive vocabulary in a lot of ways to go around in circles and answer the question without answering it. But I mean, I've been in the industry long enough. Those arms are not from spinach.
All right, let me play the rest of this video.
You get bigger, you're trying to get smaller. From there, you start at number 7 all the way up to 21. My videographers will put it right here, 7 to 21. And every 3, you go from extreme weight loss to moderate weight loss to maintenance to moderate weight gain to extreme weight gain. All you have to do is multiply your body weight. So I'm gonna use 200 pounds as my average because it's easy with math. So let's say I'm a 200-pound guy and I wanna get leaner. I'm gonna go to moderate cut, which is the second from the bottom here of these 3, which you've got 10, 11, 12. And I'm gonna say 10 because it's easy math. And so I'm gonna multiply 200, which is my weight, times 10, which is this coefficient, which gives me, drumroll please, 2,000 calories, all right? Now, if you're like, doesn't it change? What about my exercise? And what if I have a physical job? Doesn't really matter. If you lose too much weight too fast, go to 11. You can adjust it. We've got 2,000 calories. Great. Here's step 3. You multiply your weight, 200 pounds again, you multiply it by 1. Really hard math. Means 200 grams of protein. Some of the science nerds are gonna be like, you can only metabolize 0.7 grams per, don't give a shit. Every pound of lean meat, white fish, ground turkey breast, 96 4-ground beef, shrimp, whatever. A pound is 100 grams of protein. So if you need 200 grams, you need 2 pounds. And that's if you exclusively ate meat. I tend to eat over my 1 gram per pound. I like eating protein. It fills me up, I feel good on it, that's why I do it. If you don't eat as much, don't. Now we're back to the math. This is the last math equation.
I like that part. I like the simplicity of get 2 pounds of meat a day. Super simple, 100 grams of protein per your ideal body weight. I think all that stuff is great. And you did that. We did that in your program with 24 ounces of lean meat every day, 8 ounces 3 times a day.
Hey, did you know that you can watch videos like this on the Spotify app? We now are on Spotify under Ruslan Bless God Podcast. So if you're driving and you want to go back and forth between listening to the podcast and just the audio or watching the video, consider doing it now on the Spotify app as well as all podcast platforms. All right, I'll see you over there.
I think we also need to address the fact that long-term is not the healthiest thing to do.
That much protein is not healthy?
Well, here's the thing, right? So your digestive enzymes, as time goes by and you get older, their functionality starts to decrease. Right? So you don't have the same ability to metabolize like you do in your 20s and 30s and when you're 40 and 50. Right? So this is not sustainable long term. Going back to my experience with Alex, if you see Alex's change, his dramatic change in his physique. When I was in gym launch and I was one of his gym lords, I used to have all his videos, right? Watching all his videos. He was a normal looking guy. He lifted weights, but he looked very normal. Right? And then all of a sudden, probably about 4 or 5 years ago, he transformed, right? He looks, and one of the things I always used to mention in his videos inside of Gym Lunch, they weren't well produced, right? And that was a big thing for me because I was like, man, I'm paying all this money to be here. These aren't, the information was there, they just weren't well produced.
Sure.
He would always have this, he would always burp in his videos.
Interesting.
Right? He always had this reflux.
Okay.
Right? which is really, really popular with bodybuilders that are constantly taxing their digestive system.
Interesting.
Right? So I can tell, you can look at this and I mean, look at Dr. Fung will tell you that a person that is constantly taxing their digestive system will not live long.
Interesting. So your issue is this is too much protein for most people?
This is something he can do now. I mean, think of it. Alex is in his 30s.
Yeah.
He's young.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, if he continues to eat like that.
In terms of the protein, just the protein alone, you think it's too much protein?
I think that the levels of protein are pretty high.
Okay.
He's metabolizing them well because I'm presupposing that he's on some chemicals.
Sure.
That when you're on that stuff, you burn through food.
So how many grams of protein or ounces would you recommend a day for an average guy like me, 170 pounds? I want to, get a little leaner. And so I'm usually having about 170 grams of protein a day.
So the knee-jerk response is a pound of protein per pound of weight. This is what they're telling you if you want to gain.
A gram of protein.
Yeah. If you want to gain muscle.
Sure.
Right? So if you're 170 pounds, 170 grams
of protein, which is not too far from what he's saying.
Right. I mean, what he's saying is fine.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not arguing with what he's saying. What he's saying is true. He's very knowledgeable about nutrition. That's how he started making money, right? Yeah. Creating plans for people.
Yep.
So the problem is we're talking about health and long-term health. I promise you that the way he's eating now, he will not be eating that way at 45 and 50. Things are going to have to change. Yeah. Things are going to have to change. Look at Arnold.
Yeah, true.
Look at Arnold.
Potentially, the amount of protein he's eating may have to decrease.
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to be able to metabolize it. He's going to start having digestive issues.
Yeah.
Maybe gout and all these different things that come from inflammatory foods, right? And so you see that a lot of these bodybuilders. Yeah. And listen, I don't advocate one thing or the other. I'm not dogmatic about nutrition. I have vegans, vegetarians that come on my program. We adjust them. We help them. They lose weight. They look great.
Hey, you want to see something kind of crazy? Over 75% of the people that watch this channel are not subscribed. Please consider subscribing and turning your bell notification on so that you don't miss anything we have going here.
But the truth is that as you get older, right, you need to really, really start thinking about what makes me feel good and not what makes me look good, right? He's very much about his aesthetic destination. He wants to look a certain way, right? He's always said it. Alex has a lot of challenges that he's overcome, but he's still, he has this desire to look a certain way and be perceived a certain way, which he's mentioned that bothers him. Yeah. He doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want to be that way. Yeah. And so I think his physique for him is a big point of certainty. Yeah. And of control and power. Yeah. And it's like, I'm the alpha male in the room. And there will come a point where he'll have to stop eating that way and doing what he's doing.
Yeah. Let me play some more of this. That's very fascinating.
We have 2,000 calories and we know we have to eat 200 grams of protein. All you have to do is figure out what 2 pounds of meat you want to eat or where you want to get your 200 grams of protein from and figure out how many calories are in that thing. These 2 pounds of meat are both turkey. I eat turkey for both meals. Crazy. These are both 560. I know that that's 1120. That's how many calories I have of protein that I eat in my day. So I subtract my calories associated with those meals from my 2,000 in this example, and I would have 880 calories left over. Those 880 calories, here's the magic of how this works. You can do whatever you want with them. If you need to go out to a business dinner, you want to have drinks, cool. Well, cocktail's probably 150 calories. Have 2 of those and have a 500 calorie meal of whatever you want. Because again, you've already got your protein. You could just stay at home and have an entire pint of ice cream that's 880 calories. Or
now here's the thing with this is there's no way I would be able to just have speaking for me. I couldn't do that. It would be I would want some carbs and then I don't know, like my wife can have like just a little bit of ice cream. I can't do that. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to want the extra and then I'm going to crave it more and more and more. And so I think that's the part maybe he's not factoring in I don't know how many people can have just the exact amount of calories in said thing.
He's talking for himself because he's very disciplined and he can do that. The vast majority of people can't do that for an extended period of time. The other thing is what he's not considering is the fact that he's always going to be addicted to sugar, right? He's never going to get over that. He might be okay with it because he'll say, well, I'm getting the food I want. I'm doing what I want. I can have the drinks. I can have the meals. And that's more important to me than actually getting over the addiction. For most people, that's not the case. For most people are interested in kicking the addiction,
Absolutely.
controlling it, being able to eat healthy and still be able to enjoy it from time to time, because it's actually more enjoyable when you do it from time to time.
Yep.
Probably 400 calories. You can have 2 of them, and that could be your.
See, I'm not having 2 cookies, man. There's no way I'm ever having just 2 cookies.
Here.
We're having minimal 6 cookies. Minimal 6.
So Dr. Perlmutter, that wrote the book Grain Brain, says that when you eat something that doesn't agree with your stomach, you get a stomach ache. When you eat something that doesn't agree with your brain doesn't shoot off a signal, and you continue to do it until you put holes in your brain. Hence the reason most Americans have cognitive issues after the age of 60.
Sheesh.
It's based on their diets that are high in sugar, aka carbohydrates, aka desserts.
Yeah.
Your dinner. It doesn't matter. And mind you, that's with a cut. That's with me trying to lose a pretty significant amount of weight. Now I actually maintain, because we're going to this third chunk, right? In this 13 to 15 chunk, if I multiply my body weight, I'm more than 200, but let's just say it's 200 for math's sake, times 15, 3,000 calories. So I would have an extra 1,000 calories on top of that 1,000 if I did that same thing. Instead of having 2 of these cookies, I could have like 5 of these cookies for dinner, or I could have 2 of these bites and still have some food. I eat the same breakfast and lunch every day. I start my day with, let's call it a 200 calorie bar, you call it a brownie, it doesn't matter. If I'm traveling, I might not have this with me, I'll grab a Quest bar at the airport, right? 200 calories and 20 grams of protein, one of those bars. And then I have a shake, and this is 30 grams of protein and 160 calories. I'm in for 360 calories for my breakfast. I got 50 grams of protein knocked down already. Then I go to my lunch. I have a pound of turkey, which we already know is 560, and I actually only eat half of one of these guys. 1 cup of rice. I now have 150 grams of protein and 1140 in terms of calories that I've eaten so far. Mind you, I have 3,000 calories just to maintain. All right, not bad. So now I go to dinner. Dinner is the big flex meal for me. Now, I also tend to eat a pound of protein at dinner. Do I need to? Absolutely not. Do I want to? Absolutely. I love eating protein. I feel good when I eat meat. If you did it, let's say you were 150 pounds and you'd already eaten 150 grams of protein up to this point, your entire dinner could be whatever you want. Pretty cool, all right? As long as it equaled out to the total amount of calories you want. And I do this also because then I'm full. If I just eat cookies, I'm usually not full.
And this is based on a presupposition that all calories are built the same, and they're not.
They're not.
And all calories built the same at the same time of day, they're not.
They're not.
The way this would sit at me at night is going to be different than the way this sits at me after I go do cardio.
Let this blow your mind. Your performance will be radically different. So I see a guy like this, like he obviously, we can't argue that, he's a high performer and what he does well.
Yep.
I wonder what would happen if he actually cleaned up his diet and he didn't do that, how much better he would perform. Because when you think of like, okay, take a Kit Kat bar, right? Let's just call it 600 calories, right? Let's just say a Kit Kat bar big enough to have 600 calories. You put that side by side with a lean piece of, let's call it sirloin steak, right? 600 sirloin steak, 600 Kit Kat. The way those two 600 calories are absorbed are radically different, right? The insulin.
According to Alex Hormozi, though, it's the same. It's just 600 calories.
And every other macro counter will tell you that, right? Every other macro counter will tell you that. As long as you get your macros right, nothing else matters. That's if you want to look a certain way, but not perform a certain way.
That's good.
This has worked for a very long time. I actually had a couple of guys stop me and say, dude, you made this nutrition video and like I lost 50 pounds using it. Like, thanks so much. I get a bunch of DMs about this stuff. And so this is really what I eat every day. So we're like, where's your greens? I have a multivitamin. And I continue to stay alive.
I wanted to show you that because he's kind of known for this, just eat 2 pounds of meat a day and everything. I don't think this would ever work for me. I would probably feel terrible doing this. And I surprisingly like leafy greens and broccoli now.
That's good.
That's good. Throw some broccoli in an air fryer, a little bit of Primal Kitchen sauce.
Yeah,
feel amazing.
You acquired the taste.
Yeah.
Game changer.
Yeah.
These videos where you can teach people how to do things fast. I just read his book and that's the premise of it. Make it seem accessible, make it easy, make it quick, and people will buy it. Yeah. I'm more interested in doing the work because I know long-term it's I just turned 45 and probably be doing exactly what I'm doing now, the way I train, the way I eat until the day the Lord calls me.
That's good. That's good.
Hey, if you want to see the extended version of this podcast, completely unedited, consider partnering with us in our online community for as little as $5 a month. In exchange, you get access to these podcasts as we stream them live before anyone else gets to see them. You get access to the replay of our daily after party streams, access to our private Discord server, access to discount codes, and so much more. So help us continue contextualizing the gospel through media, podcasting, and YouTube, and partner with us for as little as $5 a month. Also, be sure to follow us on the Spotify podcast app, on Facebook, and on Instagram. We're constantly posting content there that I think you'll find extremely valuable. All right, I'll see you over there. Peace.